Welcome back, Patriots, for another episode of the Bald Brad Show. It is officially, what is today? Is today Tuesday? It's Tuesday the 28th. We're heading into February this weekend, and Donald Trump, Tom Homan, J.D. Vance, the whole gang is trying to make America safe again, while Democrats want to allow criminals to run roughshod over your neighborhood, over your apartment complexes, over your schools, this or that. Folks, we got a lot of stuff to cover today, a lot about the border, because what the media is doing is they're spinning this bad boy to make it seem like Donald Trump's an evil guy. This isn't the will of the American people. This isn't what the American people wanted. They're spinning it, folks, to make things seem as if they're one thing, when in actuality, they're another. And I couldn't be more than happy to spend this fine morning with all you Patriots. I see you in the chat. Give you a nice little shout out and a salute. Let's jump into things so that maybe this time we can actually get through all the news. Well, there's a spin cycle going on, as I mentioned, and it's hefty. I mean, they are pumping into this big time, where ICE agents on the streets, troops at the border, and illegals on planes. Folks, when have you ever seen so much coverage about illegal immigration in the past 4.5 years? I haven't. I didn't see all these cameras down there the last 4 years. I'm going to take you a trip down memory lane really quick. Y'all remember when Donald Trump took office? 2016, 2017, Democrats came down there with their cameras going, and they were looking around, and they were seeing kids in cages. They were in pods. They were drinking out of toilets. And for those on audio, I put that in air quotes. That's a quote from AOC. And they made it seem like it was something of which it wasn't. Well, then Joe Biden comes in office, puts people in cages. Actually, we covered during the CDC, of which gave the border 50% capacity to put people in pods. Joe Biden was exceeding that well over 100%. And they were begging the CDC during COVID to change the capacity of these pods from 50% to 100%, just so it didn't look as bad. We showed footage and we showed pictures of this way back when. And when I say packed in there like a sardine can, I mean that in all literal sense. But no Democrats down there, nobody making a fussy toughy. And then on top of that, Joe Biden's tearing families from people's arms, right, their grasps, doing everything that he claimed Donald Trump was doing. But because it was Joe Biden and he's an old man and a dullard and doesn't know what the hell's going on, he has a D next to his name. And no, I don't mean D for dick. I mean D for Democrat. He is a dick. Well, all of a sudden it's okay. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, no, it's completely fine. He does all those things that Donald Trump did, but it's only bad when a Republican does it. Now everybody all of a sudden wants to talk about the border. Really interesting. I was begging people to do this. So what you're seeing from the media is all of a sudden they want to cover this stuff. After a whirlwind of first week back in office, President Donald Trump has already made good on several campaign promises. He's lighting up the board, baby. He is keeping everything as a promise, as he said he was going to do. That sentence didn't make sense because it's morning, but you get it. Okay? I'm only one man and I'm still waking up. Many of them are related to illegal immigration and how to handle the millions of illegals who entered the United States under the watch of former President Joe Biden. Why don't you go interview that guy? Hey, look, just because you're not in the Oval Office doesn't mean you can't go talk to him. Hey, Joey. Yeah, hey, you remember us? He's in an old folks home, right? He's in our client. He looks like the old Pope. Just like, why'd you let 10+ million people pour across the border, Joe? Why? They don't want to do it. Kamala Harris, you could still go talk to her. All of a sudden, they don't want to have a conversation with her whatsoever. And then remember this guy who I still think should be tried for treason. He didn't get a pardon. That's DHS Secretary, former Alejandro Mayorkas. He should be hit with Congress. This guy led to thousands of people being killed. And I mean hundreds of thousands because he allowed fentanyl to pour across the border. Nobody wants to talk to them. The media spin on Sunday appeared to be aimed at diluting the overwhelming support from the public for Trump's tougher stance on illegal immigration and even mass deportations, as legacy media hosts focused Sunday and just also on Saturday on the few key points that they thought could be used to push public opinion in the opposite direction. And that's their goal here, is to change the opinion, change the minds of the American people, and push a narrative that wasn't either of those things that I just mentioned. That's what they do. I don't know why they can't go with the flow. I don't know why they just can't state the obvious that there's murderers, rapists, violent gang members, hell, what else is here? Terrorists in the country. And so when you get rid of these people, which by the way, they're only focusing on criminals at the moment, they're in an uproar. They don't like it. People want to be safe. I don't know. You guys let me know in the chat. I see all of you. I'm sleeping better. I'm feeling better. I'm sleeping better. My mood is better. And I was thinking about this last night. You know, when you're a kid and you just feel like your parents got it together, you know, and you're just sleeping good and you're a little binky, you know, your belly's full of food. You're like, yeah, you know, I feel safe. I can actually sleep. I know it sounds crazy, but that's kind of how I was feeling last night. You know, everything's going to be all right. Daddy's in office. You're good. I know it sounds crazy. I'm being 100% honest, by the way. I know it sounds silly, but I was like, you know, I feel like a kid again. I look like shit, but I feel like a kid. Well, let's get to more of the border news. Dr. Phil joins Tom Homan for ICE raid. Convicted sex offender nabbed. The dude goes out for like 15 minutes and they already got somebody that's on the list. TV personality Dr. Phil, you know, defended the action. That was a terrible Dr. Phil impression. I don't know what the hell I was doing. What were you thinking, Brad? He wasn't, because it's morning. He's still trying to wake up. Defended the actions of border czar Tom Homan while going along for a raid with Immigrations and Customs Enforcement. He's doing more to show these criminals than the actual media are, and he's a doctor. Brad, he's a TV personality doctor, but he's a doctor. You don't see Margaret Brennan doing this. Why is she not putting on the vest and going in these raids with her helmet tipped sideways because she's an idiot? Dad, what are we doing here? I want a number 4 with a mocha frappuccino. This isn't Starbucks, bitch. We're raiding the place. That's why you guys come here, right? You get the entertainment. Like, what the hell is he talking about? Why is he saying Starbucks? Why is her helmet tipped? Well, let me break it down. Her helmet was tipped because she was an idiot. People are idiots, don't know how to put their helmets on, right? And then second, instead of going on a raid, she's so stupid that they thought they were going on a raid to get Starbucks and ordering a number 4, a mocha frappuccino, when in actuality they're about to go in and get a sex offender. There you go. I can't connect everything for you, folks. We're patriots in here. Dr. Phil, whose real name is Phil McCraw, asked Seta if he had ever been charged with sex crimes involving children, because they got this guy right here. 74-year-old talk show host covers this. I got the clip for you, baby. No, these are good people. Yeah, everybody they're getting rid of. I know I always say it, you guys, you got to understand, yeah, these are good people.
Seda what? You have a first and last name?
Czar.
Seda Sam?
Yes.
Where are you from?
Where I was born or where I'm from?
Where are you born?
Thailand.
You been deported before from the United States?
No.
Never been deported?
I've been in the system before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What have you been charged with
Charged where?
before?
I'm not gonna say that. I'm not talking about lawyer.
Yeah. Are you a citizen?
My mom's a citizen.
Your mother's a citizen,
Yes.
but you're not?
Nope.
But you've never been deported before?
Who's Dr. Phil? Who's Dr. Phil?
Yeah? How do you know me?
No, I seen Dr. Phil, you know, on TV.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this is an example of sanctuary cities, right? We got an illegal alien convicted of sex crimes involving children. And he's walking the streets of...
Some of you are commenting, hey, he knows who Dr. Phil is. I'll keep playing it. Can you imagine if he goes, Tom Homan walks up, Joe Biden, what are you doing here?
Chicago. Again, the downfall, the problem with the sanctuary city, that people like us walking the street rather than local law enforcement working with federal agents. This is what we're dealing with. Yeah. You've been charged with sex crimes with children?
Not really.
Not really? And there.
Do you notice these people just don't care? Do you notice that? You could see it, right? I'm not the only one that like just that demeanor, the body language, the way this guy's answering questions just cannot give two bleeps.
Ever been deported?
Nope.
Huh. Let's take him in and process and lock him up.
Got it, sir. All right. We get
Shout out to Tom Homan. No, really, you guys. This guy, it's nighttime. He's doing raids to keep us safe, and he's away from his family. Thank you, sir. This guy's sacrificing, man, to keep us safe because Joe Biden, Democrat Party, doesn't want to do it. Doesn't want to do it. Dr. Phil is more of a journalist than actual journalists are, like Margaret Brennan that you saw go up against J.D. Vance the other day. Unbelievable stuff. Just unfreaking believable. And you want to keep the homeland safe because, well, hell, the Chinese are coming after us too. House Committee on Homeland Security warns of Chinese espionage threat. Yeah. Well, granted, this hasn't really gone away. This has been here, but it's still news nonetheless. At a recent meeting of the House Committee on Homeland Security, evidence was presented of how China is posing a grave cybersecurity to the United States. Now, remember, this is not news. This has been going on, except Joe didn't want to do anything about it. Joe was lax on China, and I've always said my theory of why he's lax on China and why he's allowing Chinese foreign nationals to come through the southern border and sell fentanyl, other drugs, round up women and children and sell them off into forced labor and sex slavery, is because I think they have a lot of dirt on him and his family, which is why, and it goes into the tune of why he pardoned his entire family. Because guess who was getting money from China? The big guy. And who was the big guy? It was Joey. And we know that money, and the reason I'm saying I know this is because I saw the checks. The checks were coming from China into James Biden, who got a pardon's bank account, into Joey's bank account. Oh, the guy's president. He was vice president, and then he was a senator, and he was nothing else. Weird how all of a sudden he's a millionaire, right? Just swimming in cash. Just swimming in cash. Millions. But yeah, he can't tie his shoes. Explain that one to me. Explain to me how Joey can't wipe his own tushy, can't blow his own nose, but yet he's swimming in cash and millions of dollars. Yeah, but Democrats will rationalize it. Yeah. No, it's normal for somebody to pardon their entire family. No, it isn't, you idiots. Not you patriots, of course. No, it's not. It's actually never happened before. There's a lot of things that haven't happened before, but they all happened under Joe Biden. Joe Biden, if he was an Olympian, would have more medals than anybody that's ever existed in the Olympics. It's astonishing. You thought Michael Phelps was an athlete? Joe Biden's an athlete. He's an athlete for breaking records on a criminal level. The fentanyl, the drug trafficking, the gang trafficking, the smuggling, the sex trafficking. Hell, what else is next? Human trafficking, slavery. Joe Biden has actually done more slavery than the height of slavery. You know, I just thought of it right now. Isn't that mind-blowing that Democrats are once again enabling slavery to the tune of something we've never seen in our lifetime or human existence? Leave it up to the Democrats to bring back slavery. I would have thought. Well, this is going on. I just want to bring it to your attention. There's not really much I want to add here. We have covered this in the past. There's a big like IT cybersecurity threats that have been happening. Nobody wants to address it. We're having massive problems with the Chinese taking our I don't know what the hell it's called, our intellectual property, so our IPs. Just a massive issue. And honestly, I actually don't know how Trump's going to handle it. I really don't. We'll see how he plays through this one. I don't know what his plans and his agendas are. His agenda. It's a rough show today. But we'll keep you up to date. This has been going on since 2018, folks. It's nothing new. How's your eye doing? My eye's doing okay. Yeah, it looks worse than what it is. But thank you. Thank you. Thanks for calling that out, Joanne. I was hoping it'd go under the radar. There's this scene. Can I do a side tangent? This show's clearly something else today. And we're about to get into Selena Gomez because she went viral yesterday. There's a scene from The Wedding Singer with Adam Sandler when he walks into the party, and the guy that he walks into kind of addresses something to him, and he goes, My parents also died in an automobile accident. Would you like to talk about that? So like Joanne's acknowledging something that's clearly an issue for me, Joanne. My parents died in a drunk driver accident. Would you like to talk about that? I don't know if anybody knows the scene, but if you do, well, it's a movie thing for you. So we got that going on. If you're enjoying what you're seeing, we do this every single morning. It's usually more professional, 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, but we're having a good time nonetheless. Now, unbeknownst to all of you guys, I went to bed at 2 a.m. and woke up at 4:30. So I'm running on 2.5 hours of sleep. Now, that's partly why this happened, because that's been happening quite often lately. Because many of you don't, well, I guess many of you do know at this point, I work multiple jobs. So I'm running on 2.5 hours of sleep. I'm falling apart. Why do you think I drink so much coffee? I'm staying alive. All right. This went big viral yesterday, and it was Selena Gomez. And I don't know if it was a performance she put on, but she was hysterically crying over ICE deporting criminals. This is not a joke. I am not making this bigger than what it needs to be. She did. And that is why we're spotlighting it. She is, folks, when I show you the clip, she is like hysterically crying. I'm so sorry. Because ICE is getting rid of aliens, like criminals. So I got the clip for you. You let me know if this is like performance art. I'm not exactly sure.
I just want to say that I'm so sorry. All my people are getting attacked. The children. I don't understand.
No, because you're an idiot.
I'm so sorry. I wish I could do something, but I can't. I don't know what to do. I'll try everything, I promise.
Folks, she's a multi-millionaire. This lady has more money than she knows what to do with. What do you mean now you're going to start sobbing? Lady, people are being chopped up and thrown into the woods. They're being raped. R-A-P-E-D. They're being sold off into slavery, Selena. Is my mic working? I don't know if she can hear me. Hello? I don't understand. What is there not? Folks, I'm telling you, she probably lives in my state. It's why we have to show this stuff, because these people exist. It's one thing to make the claim that there's some dude that has like a family of 4 that's really freaking grinding it out, working 20-hour days to make a living, make his life better. There's at least an argument there. Not for somebody that's killing people, Selena, and raping little girls and women and sometimes men. Maybe I'm off my rocker. You guys, am I making sense here? Let me know. Like, what the hell is this? Notice, not willing to house anybody. Notice, she's not sponsoring a single illegal alien. You know what Tom Homan should do? Hand to God, he should do this with Dr. Phil. Go round up some dude that killed an entire family back in his home country and then raped and then also is a part of drug trafficking and probably part of the cartel. Knock on her door and see if she will sponsor him and get it on camera. I guarantee you she won't do it because it's all theatrics. They're attacking my people. That's also another major problem in this country. They're not your people. You're American. He's not deporting Americans. I'm so tired of everybody going, well, I'm Mexican American. I'm Asian American. I'm Italian American. I'm African American. I'm Puerto Rican American. Whatever the hell it is. No, you're an American. If you want to put that title of said thing in front of American, then maybe you should go back there. Because clearly it's at the forefront of what you actually think you are. You usually put the title of what you are at first. I don't go, oh, I'm English American or I'm Indian American, because I actually do have family, believe it or not, that are Indian Americans. I don't do that. Folks, I'm so close, just to give you a heads up, I'm so close to Native American, I actually have cousins called like Redbird. I know it doesn't look like it because I don't go out in the sun, but this boy can tan, baby. I'm way closer to Elizabeth Warren, let me tell you. I used to be pulled out of school to make sand freaking pictures. Alrighty, well, that's enough of her. This is working. Yeah. Hello. Isn't it crazy? As I said yesterday, if you watch the show, we do this live 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time every single morning. Thank you so much for you guys coming in, having me scream into the mic. Hello. I told you they breathe the same air as us. They walk amongst us. They're NPCs. I'll do everything I can. Where were you for the last 4 years? Could she tell the people that were murdered this, like their families? Oh, this is good. Oh, I can't play but this is I'll play this. This is what you're seeing from the left. This is AI for those that think this is real. I have to say it because some of the Democrats think it's real. AI is getting good, man. You remember this chick? Or man, I don't know what she was. We can't assume people's genders. Well, again, for those that are just tuning in, we just saw Selena Gomez crying hysterically, really Oscar performance. Right after we just got done watching a guy be arrested by ICE, Tom Homan, and Dr. Phil, believe it or not, for allegedly having sexual relations with little girls. So, but she wants them to stay. Mm-hmm. Oh, how do I know that? Because she was just crying about it. I'll do everything I can to keep you here. I'll help you. Selena, you got enough to worry about. Focus on yourself. Well, we also have ICE raids beginning in the Colony Ridge, Texas development known for attracting illegal aliens. We covered this a little bit yesterday, but there's some updates here where the Trump administration, ICE officials have conducted a series of operations in Colony Ridge, the sprawling Texas development that the Daily Wire exposed as a magnet for illegal aliens. ICE officials have conducted an unknown number of raids in Colony Ridge, which is located just north of Houston and spans approximately 60 square miles. Among those arrested is believed to be El Salvadorian illegal alien wanted for what? Can you guys read that? It's a little tiny. What does that say? Can we get Selena in here? Selena, you know how to read? That says murder. Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. No, she's cool with these people staying, folks. These are good people. Yeah. I was told they clean our toilets and pick our vegetables. That's what that is not from me. Please understand that. That's not even a joke. The Democrats are saying that. It's my understanding that ICE has a list of people in the area that have active felony warrants. Oh. No, that's all made up. Yeah, that's just fake paperwork. Remember, deep fakes, cheap fakes. I was told that one of those arrested was wanted for murder in El Salvador. ICE did not immediately respond to my media inquiry asking how many individuals had been apprehended in the enforcement operation. Oh, goody. Oh, goody. At least they're out there. But again, you couldn't make it up that Democrats want murderers, criminals at the end of the day, in their cities. And if you recall, how many times have I said it, Patriots? They love this stuff. There is you can't say Democrats don't love crime when their cities have a massive amount of crime and that they will continue to push and peddle crime. Case in point, what we just saw for the last 4 years. And we know that they love this stuff because guess who they were trying to still vote into office in the tune of over 70 million votes? Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. They wanted Joe again. It's unbelievable. It really is. You really try to wrap your head around it. Well, thank God for Tom Homan and Donald Trump for actually coming in and being big boys and doing their job and making America safe again, which is what we needed. What we needed bigly. And hopefully everybody's still with us here over at Rumble. Greatly appreciate you. If you are new to the show, again, we do this every single morning, 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Glad you decided to join our channel, or I guess my channel, with us. We got a lot of patriots in the chat. Before we move forward, folks, we got more information about ICE. We got Truth Social here. If you're looking for a great place online for news, discussion, entertainment, well, then you need to check out Truth Social, because Donald Trump's social media website is bonkers in a good way. You'll be getting breaking news stories and commentary from top media figures. If you want to see Trump's legendary Truth Social posts, then get on Truth Social today. Join a growing community of patriots on a free speech platform designed to avoid censorship and cancellation by big tech. Make your voice heard. Join the movement. Join Truth Social, folks. Really, I mean, Donald Trump is posting there first, and then what they're doing is whoever is running the accounts is they're taking those posts and then putting them up on X. But, you know, the guy owns it and he's taking care of us. We might as well take care of him and join Truth Social. So if you can use the QR code there, or just head to Truth Social and download it yourself. Bada bing, bada boom, pop those digits in, baby, and get on it and get the news. I love it. Good to see all of you. What's up? I see in the chat saying, what's up, baby? All right. Well, we got some numbers in finally. And look, I'm going to push back just a little bit. And it's not necessarily a bad thing, but ICE has made over 2,500 arrests in Trump's first week. Now, here's the thing. Let's do a little bit of math, okay? This is why I don't like these numbers. I was expecting something more big. If right now, if at this rate, we're doing 130,000 a year, okay? Trump's only in for 4 years. That's 500,000 people. Look, it's great. It's great. I'm not complaining. I'm glad something's getting done. But 520,000 at this rate, it's just not going to cut it. It's not going to cut it. You guys, they need to be doing like 10,000 a week. You need to be getting rid of people at the same rate that they were coming in over the last 4 years. So if they were coming in about 6,000 to 10,000 a day at times, these are the numbers they got to start pulling. And they're not doing it. I was expecting bigger numbers, I'll be honest. I really was, hand to God. This isn't good enough for me. And I told you all before Donald Trump got elected, I voted for the guy 3 times, I'm proud of it, that I was going to hold his feet to the fire. I'm sorry, this just is not good enough. We need more. More! ICE officials and agents taking directions from President Donald Trump's border czar Tom Homan had arrested over 2,500 illegal immigrants since Trump was sworn into office. Again, I'm not complaining. I just want more. ICE officials reported that it arrested 1,000 people in raids across the country on Sunday alone. Okay, I'm liking that. So if they're able to do, if they're able to do 1,000, you can't tell I'm under the weather. If they're able to do 1,000 a day, that's not bad. That's 7,000 a week. I'll take it. ICE agents focused more of their attention on numerous cities, including sanctuary cities like Chicago and Los Angeles. There's people coming out from Chicago, Democrats, believe it or not. Some of them do have their head on straight. They're in the wild. It's like a diamond in the rough. They going, can you come to Chicago? We got a lot of people siphoning from our sanctuary state, sanctuary city. Can you come here to specifically Chicago? So that's why they're hitting that up. Right in 4 years, Vance will be president and he will continue the deportation. Well, look, I don't want to bank on that, Beekeeper. I would love that. But I would rather have it done now. Like this next 4 years. I know you would too. I get you, baby. I get you. Homan said NBC News that the federal government made some collateral arrests along with arresting illegal immigrants. So what was happening here? I don't know if you guys are actually aware of this or not. I'm aware of it because I live in a freaking sanctuary state, California. What they were doing was they were apprehending criminals. Again, I'm going to say this again, murderers, sex traffickers, like drug cartel guys, like MS-13, all these terrible people. And they were trying to deport them. And what was happening was because they're in a sanctuary city, they had to let them go. And so what they did was when they let them go, they followed them back to their residence or somebody else. And when they followed them, they actually found more illegal aliens. And that was kind of part of the plan they knew was happening. So they were able to apprehend other people and get rid of them for some reason, or had to release them. Isn't it crazy Gavin Newsom and what you're seeing, like Selena Gomez and some of these celebrities want to allow full-fledged murderers and criminals to run freaking free in the streets? And you only get like that if you're in an echo chamber. Again, as I always mention, if you want to make a case for some dude that's just really roughing it, he's working 20 hours, The guy is just, you could tell, just really beat down. He loves this country. He has the Constitution everywhere, the full thing memorized. He knows the Declaration of Independence. The guy's just wearing freaking Trump underwear. Like, hey, there's a case to be made. Keep him. But I'm okay with getting rid of criminals. Selena Gomez, the Democrats, they want to keep him. Freaking bonkers. Bonkers. And so you have Brazil going after Trump. What could Brazil possibly be going after Trump for? Oh, well, let me tell you, because he's handcuffing them on their way back to their home country because they're criminals. And what do you do with criminals? You put them in handcuffs. I'm telling you, I know I'm repeating myself, you guys. What the hell is going on with people? None of this is... It's not like we're solving some insane freaking Calc 3, Calc 4 problem. These people killed people. And you're about to be on a freaking 5-hour flight with them? And you're not going to put handcuffs on them? What? You know what I mean? I swear sometimes, folks, I really feel like I'm the crazy one. Just as we've always said this, I feel like a lot of conservatives never say this, but it is true. If you could take something from an individual level and extrapolate it out to everybody else, things are probably going to work out in your favor in terms of an argument or in terms of discussing something. You're on an airplane. It's your job. You have a family. You have a life. You have a mortgage. And you're about to deport a murderer. Guy's just slaughtered an entire family back home. He fled here to, flee going to prison his entire life in basically dirt and darkness. And you're sitting, you have two options. You have two options. I want to know what you guys are going to do. You can have him sit there with no cuffs on. So let me know no cuffs. Or you could have the guy shackled up in cuffs. What would you do on an individual level? Hand to God, be serious. Would you do no cuffs or cuffs? Let me know in the chat. I'll let you know what I would do. I would do more than cuffs. I would have those things, they would be shackled to the floor of the plane. I'm not going to trust these guys. Are you kidding me? Geez, Dave, I can't, you guys are too much over at Rumble. Folks, those guys over at Rumble, I can't even actually repeat what the hell they were saying. Everybody's saying cuffs. Thank you. Yes, cuffs. Chain gang. Yeah. Thank you. Okay. What a blessing you guys are. You make me feel like I'm sane. I know sometimes I'm far gone. I'm aware of it. I'm self-aware. Well, the government of Brazil, led by a socialist president, what is up with all the communist and socialist presidents down there in South America? Can they not get their shit together? Can we talk? Like, what is going on with South America? You just had the Colombian president that's a full-on Marxist complaining about Donald Trump. Donald Trump turned that around in 30 minutes on a golf course. And then you got this guy demanding answers after 88 of his citizens were deported from the United States in handcuffs. I don't know what it is. These people are idiots. Can you guys hear me? Is this thing on? Hey, I'm not going to try to pronounce your name, Luis. Because they're criminals! You idiot! I don't know. I'm trying to rationalize with the guy that's a socialist. Guy is the most freaking wealthy land on the planet and somehow screws it up. I don't know. I'm trying to rationalize with him. He's an idiot. The U.S. representative in Brazil was summoned by the Brazilian government on Monday to provide clarifications about the treatment of illegal immigrants. They assumed his position as chargé d'affaires following the inauguration of President Donald Trump and likely to remain in his role until the ambassador to Brazil is appointed. Handcuffing illegal immigrants on deportation flights has been standard practice by the U.S. government for like ever, including under Joe Biden, in order to ensure the safety of the pilots and agents of the pilots. Oh, who could have thought? Duh! According to Brazilian media, the practice usually includes the handcuffs removal prior to landing in Brazil. Some Brazilian leaders describe the handcuffing during the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement flight as degrading. You want to know what's degrading? Some of these people raping children, murdering families, you idiots. I told you they walk among us, they breathe the same air, they live on the same planet. The Brazilian government accused the U.S. of violating treaties by using handcuffs during the flight. What are you going to do about it? I don't think people realize we play nice because we tend to have morals and standards. See, socialist, communist, Marxist governments, they don't. They don't have morals and standards. Well, how do we know that? Because socialist people, they just take your money. Yeah, if you have more money than the other guy does, well, you did something wrong, and so you deserve to have your money stolen and given to the other guy that didn't do jack shit. Sounds a lot like what's going on here lately under Joe Biden. Degrading. When it was degrading that you allowed them to leave your country just willy-nilly and come into our country illegally, and then we had to deal with their problems, i.e. murder, drug trafficking, sex trafficking, all those other things. But it wasn't dignified, you guys. It wasn't respectful. It wasn't humane treatment. Oh. Just love how they talk to us like that. Oh, well, you're going against our treaties. You gotta love how some of these countries call themselves allies, but they're doing this crap. I'm not saying Brazil is necessarily an ally, but what I'm saying is we do have some of our allies that are not willing to take back their illegal aliens that they allowed to cross into our country. Bonkers, dude. Bonkers. Just really shows you how stupid people are. What's nice about covering these articles, don't you all feel like rocket scientists? I feel a lot smarter sometimes when I hear about these idiots. Bald Brad would love your thoughts on this constitutional amendment idea. Are you talking about the most recent one where Donald Trump could possibly serve 3 terms? I don't know if that's the one you're talking about. Let me know. After Trump shuts down Colombian president, speaking of that dude, visa appointments at U.S. Embassy in Colombia is canceled. So on Monday, a number of visa appointments at the U.S. Embassy in Colombia were canceled. The news came in the wake of President Trump's dominant victory on Sunday when he threatened Colombian President Gustavo Petro over his declaration that he would not permit 2 U.S. Air Force planes transporting Colombian deportees to land in Colombia. Well, Trump's on the golf course at the 7-iron, just doing a little bit of a warm-up. And, Trump threatened tariffs and a bunch of other penalties on the guy. Well, within 30 minutes, he changed his tune really quick. Well, on Sunday, Colombia announced that they were not going to accept the plane flights filled with deportees, and Trump immediately issued the following statement, which we covered. A few hours later, the guy reversed his decision. Good on him. Well, Secretary of State Marco Rubio added, President Trump has made it clear that his administration will no longer be lied to nor taken advantage. So this statement is coming from, I believe, his press secretary. Yeah, White House press secretary. Hey, heads up, there is a first White House press briefing of the year today. Now, I'm going to be at work, but I'm going to be covering it when I come home. So we're going to have another live stream when I come home today. Yes, I'm going to be dog tired, but we got to do it, baby. The government of Colombia has agreed to all President Trump's terms. You're damn right. The visa sanctions issued by the State Department and enhanced inspections of border protection will remain in effect. Yeah! But I thought you said you're going to remove everything, President Trump. You didn't do it. How can you do this? Well, because Trump doesn't mess around. F around and find out. F around and find out. Sorry, Gustavo Petro. I'm keeping the sanctions in, a-hole. You mess with the ball, you get the horns, baby. See you later, Gustavo. I gotta go hit. I'm on the 17th hole, hitting a 45. You know, I'll tell you what, Colombian coffee just tastes a lot better. Woo! Thank you, Gustavo. Thank you, Gustavo. We have mayors of Boston, Chicago, and Denver, and New York City called to testify to Congress over sanctuary city policies. Now, I'm not really a fan of all these congressional hearings because nothing really happens with them. It's more for show than anything. But you got all these major cities, Democrat ran, and they were invited to testify to the House Oversight Committee regarding their sanctuary city policies for illegal immigrants. Sanctuary jurisdictions and their misguided and obstructionist policies hinder the ability of federal law enforcement officers to effectuate safe arrests, and remove dangerous criminals from American communities. But Republicans, conservatives, all of us here, independents, Democrats don't want this, you guys. See how it says remove dangerous criminals from their cities? They don't want that. I've always found it interesting that they want to exacerbate a problem of increasing taxes, not having businesses come into inner cities because there's a massive amount of crime. Like they're only hurting themselves with their own policies, and they still haven't woken up that their policies suck. Some of them have. But as I've mentioned, they come back and they look at all the doo-doo, sometimes quite literally, if you look at San Francisco, that's everywhere, and they go, I've had enough of this insanity. I'm going to go move to Texas, or I'm going to go move to Alabama, or Tennessee, or Idaho, any red state. And then they go and do the exact same thing in your locality that they did here in California, or Chicago, or New York City, or Los Angeles. It doesn't matter where it's at, and do the same crap all over again. It's astonishing that they go, I'm going to leave this insanity. But then they go do the same insanity over where you are. So this is going to be taking place, and it looks like somewhere around February. So we got a couple weeks before this really kicks off here. And as I mentioned, nothing's really going to come of it whatsoever. But at least you'll get some information. We'll find out. He is throwing all the freak and geek out of the military. No more woke, clean house, MAGA. Yeah, he's also firing a lot of people. Look, things are getting done. I'm happy. I would like more deportations of criminals because I would like to keep Americans safe. That's all I care about. America first, keeping Americans safe. It's not a difficult concept. It really isn't. And it's something I think a lot of people can get behind, but for some ungodly reason, the people that can't get behind it also have like the loudest mouths. The media, Margaret Brennan, everybody over there at The View, Selena Gomez. It's like these people with huge platforms that are idiots and somehow still got platforms, which just, I guess, kind of shows you how great America is, that you could be a complete idiot and not know how to function properly. Well, you're able to make millions. Look at the people in The View. They're still getting paid millions, and they say a bunch of nonsense every single week. I'm not saying everything they say is nonsense, but a lot of it is. And they probably say the same thing about me. They probably do. They might be right. They say a lot of crazy things. Well, let's get into a little bit of good news here. Target is one of the latest companies to roll back DEI, joining other major companies like Walmart and Meta. I think you're going to see more of this. I really do. And this is a good move by Target. Do you remember how Target was doing like that trans stuff and they're pushing all that stuff on your kids at like the front of the store? And then they told everybody that all that trans LGBTQ stuff they got rid of, but in actuality, they put it at the back of the store. They lied to all of you. Well, we have this here. Target is the latest company to reverse its diversity, equity, and inclusion DEI initiatives. Per a new memo made public on Friday, the Minneapolis-based retail giant will be joining large companies including Walmart, McDonald's, and Meta, to name a few, by phasing out its DEI focus. This is a good move, by the way, just also financially. You have to hire people to keep track of all this DEI stuff. And I remember, God, it must have been almost a decade now at this point. There was a position, it wasn't at Target, it was at the University of San Diego or San Diego State, one of the two, and hired somebody to focus on DEI and affirmative action. You guys, the position was like $600,000. And their job was just to make sure that their quota was met. That they would just hire enough black people, Asian, whites, and Hispanics, Native Americans, all that stuff. $600,000. You know how much you're just going to save that by cutting it. It's just waste. It's insane. And you're already hurting as a company as it is because Joe Biden sucked ass. It makes sense to get rid of this. It's waste. It's no need. That means ending 3-year DEI goals that were previously laid out. Also, unbeknownst that a lot of people don't talk about, these companies have ESG scores. environmental social governance scores. And so because they want to get lending from the banks, because they want to look good and be able to work within the market, they have to have a high ESG score. And one of the ESG scores that's attributed to elevating it or increasing it would be a DEI focus. That's why a lot of these companies did this as well. It wasn't necessarily that they wanted to. Please understand that. I think some companies did, and maybe Target did. I'm just making the case that some of these CEOs were they're kind of screwed, because what do? You need to make a profit. You don't make a profit, the company goes down the drain, you lose your job, the people behind you lose their job, you're going to have to make, cutoffs or layoffs. You got to do something. And so they're pushing this DEI stuff. I'm not saying that was everybody, but it was some that was happening with. Many years of data, insights, listening, and learning have been shaping the next chapter in our strategy. And as a retailer that serves millions of consumers every day, we understand the importance of staying in step with the evolving external landscape now and in the future, all in service of driving Target's growth and winning together. Now, I don't fully believe that because of that movement that they did by, again, pushing all that stuff up to the front and also focusing on children. I don't fully believe it, but, it's one of those sayings, I'll believe it when I see it. I'm not going to hold my breath. You got a lot of companies that are ultimately pulling out of the DEI woke stuff. We will see. Now, if it is true, you want to know what sucks about all this? You have Disney and all the Hollywood stuff that's pushing the woke crap upon you and, well, everybody. We lost an entire decade of good content. Like, that sucks. Okay, let's say average, we're living 70 years. You don't really remember ages 1 through 10. So you got 60 years of your life. You lost 1/6 of just good content that we could have had. We could have had killer Star Wars, guys. We could have had an awesome Indiana Jones film. Marvel. Like, look at everything we lost over a decade. Thanks to Democrats and progressive leftists. And we don't get that back. None of it. It could have been an awesome last 10 years, but they had to ruin it for everybody with their crazy ideology. Well, let's get into some other good news here. This is really good news. Oh, Jim. Jim. Jim's gone. Jim's leaving CNN. Now, he was going to get the boot, but I think he sat there and put his thong on correctly and goes, I'm gonna just leave. Okay, get the hell out. You're not a reporter. You're a joke, dude. You're a joke. According to news reports, CNN Jim Acosta will leave the network after working there for almost 18 years. Can you believe it? That guy made 18 years there. Didn't know anything. He's an activist. During his career at the network, Acosta served as a correspondent between 2007 and 2012 when he was promoted to be the national political correspondent. Promoted to be that stupid. Where did we see this, you guys? Who else got promoted for being a dum-dum? Karine Jean-Pierre. Do y'all remember that? Like the last few months of her position, she got promoted. The lady hadn't answered a question in 3.5 years. Got promoted. Couldn't read from a binder that had the answers. Got promoted. What was her promotion? We covered this. If you're new to the show, Karine Jean-Pierre did get a promotion. She stayed as the White House press secretary, but she was an advisor to the president. Can you imagine that meeting? Joe asking her for any sort of information, her flipping through her binder. I don't know, shit. That's why nothing got done, thank God, because can you imagine the firestorm we would have had if things would have actually went the way that Joe really, really wanted? We wouldn't have a country. He was promoted to senior White House correspondent, which we all remember, and to be chief White House correspondent on June 9th. Oh, Lordy. But Acosta was basically had a terrible relationship with President Trump, lasted the entire 4-year terms of his first term because he interrupted. He's an a-hole. Somebody has to tell the guy he's an asshole. If I saw him in real life, I would tell him he's an asshole because he is. Not respectful. According to CNN anchor Oliver Darcy, Acosta signaled to associates in private conversations over the weekend that he intends to depart the network after it's booted him from the morning program lineup because nobody wants to watch you. And he can't fathom this. He can't fathom that he lied for years. He's an activist that has an agenda on a news station that claims to be unbiased. And then when people don't want to watch him because he clearly has an agenda that doesn't fit what the American people want, and CNN wants to remove him from that programming, he puts his panties all in a bunch and thinks like he deserved it. I don't know what he's going to do. I don't know who would hire this guy, but I'm sure there's some leftist idiot out there that would pick this guy up. And then what's going to happen, because they're insane, this isn't working properly, is they're going to question why things aren't working out. Oh, we hired this guy for $20 million. Why is nobody watching? Well, if nobody was watching at CNN because he sucks and a liar and a scumbag, well, then when he moves over here, that idea of him being a liar and a scumbag and an activist, that doesn't change. It doesn't change. Folks, there's a reason why Chris Cuomo still doesn't have the ratings. On Wednesday, Acosta said, Representative Tim Burchett, I was at the White House covering the first Trump administration when they had rioting outside of the White House. I mean, that was covered on CNN. This is not Fox, Congressman. You can't just spin a tail and pull the wool over people's eyes. This is CNN. This is the news. We are asking you to come and tell the truth. Here's a little bit of a recap, not a recap, but a little bit of a callback of Jim Acosta and Trump.
Thank you, Mr. President. I wanted to challenge you on one of the statements that you made in the tail end of the campaign in the midterms.
Here we go.
If you don't mind, Mr. President, that this caravan was an invasion. As you know, Mr. President,
I consider it to be an invasion.
As you know, Mr. President, the caravan was not an invasion. It's a group of migrants moving up from Central America towards the border with the U.S.
Thank you for telling me that. I appreciate it.
Why did you characterize it as such?
Because I consider it an invasion. You and I have a difference of opinion.
But do you think that you demonized immigrants in this
all.
election
No, not
to
at
try
all.
to keep
them? I want them to come into the country, but they have to come in legally. They have to come in, Jim, through a process. I want it to be a process, and I want people to come in, and we need the people.
Your campaign.
Wait. You know why we need the people, don't you? Because we have hundreds of companies moving in. We need the people.
Your campaign had an ad showing migrants climbing over walls and so on.
That's true. But they weren't actors.
They're not going to be doing that.
They weren't actors. Well, no, it's true. Do you think they were actors? They weren't actors. They didn't come from Hollywood. Right. These were people. This was an actual. It happened a few days ago, and
they're hundreds of miles away, though. They're hundreds and hundreds of miles away. That's not an invasion.
Honestly, I think you should let me run the country. You run CNN.
All right.
And if you did it well, your ratings would be much better.
If I may ask one other question, Mr. President, if I may.
Well done, Mr. President. That's an old clip, but it kind of gives you a callback to how Jim functioned and was just completely disrespectful for the president. It's not an invasion. That didn't age well because it was. What do you call it? What do you call it when you have 15 million people pouring across your border, which never has happened in the history of human existence? What do you call that? What do you call it? I don't know. I call it an invasion, but I get slammed for it. Folks, there was a short that I posted years ago when this all started under Joe Biden. And it was right around, it must have been around February of 2022, I think was when Russia invaded Ukraine. I can't remember the exact year. But it was around that time because there was an article that talked about 120,000 troops going into Ukraine, and they called it an invasion. And I said, how come it's an invasion when 120,000 people pour into another country, but when millions of people pour into the United States, it's just mass migration? Why is it not mass migration for Russia to go in Ukraine? Just mass migration. Nothing to see here. Oh, they have guns? Yeah, so does the cartel, MS-13, and the other drug cartels that's coming across in the violent gang members. So do they. Well, they have machinery. Yeah, so do the cartels. They have drones flying over everywhere. But, we can't say that because it's the truth, and, well, the left doesn't like the truth. The left love to lie. That's what they do. Well, that's going to be the show today, folks. I hope you enjoyed yourselves, and I appreciate you always joining me in these mornings and hanging out with me. I have a blast doing this. It is a hobby. This is not my full-time job. If you haven't caught on yet, I work multiple jobs. Got to make a living. Everybody's trying to a workhorse, but not complaining. But I love hanging out with you guys. I really do. And thank you for allowing me to hang out with you. I really do appreciate that. And to answer Joanne's question earlier about the amendment where a president, if they serve 2 consecutive terms, can't run for president again, but you could run for a third term as long as it wasn't consecutive. Do I like that? I'm gonna be honest, no. I'll tell you why. It's because whenever I think about kind of policy, laws, amendments, I first, and it's nothing to do with this, I first think about how's it going to strip or limit the liberties of my fellow countrymen. That's the first thing I think. Second is, how could this play out if the shoe is on the other foot? Let's just pretend Barack Obama, or I guess we can make a better case, Joe Biden, he won't survive it, but didn't do consecutive terms. That they had you had Joe Biden here, Trump, then theory Joe Biden again, and then Joe Biden could go again. So I don't want that to happen. Look, I love Trump, you guys. I really do. But I don't want him to be president for a third time. I like the tradition of keeping the 8 years and moving on to somebody else. It's a service that people can do. And it's getting a little bit too close to kingmanship, in my opinion. And our bench is deep. We have a lot of people that can run this country just as great as Donald Trump. I know we love him. I love him, but I'm not a fan of that amendment. And the great thing here is we don't have to agree with that, and we could still get along. That's the lovely thing about it. I just know that the Democrats will use it to their advantage. And I don't want another Barack Obama in for a third term. I don't want somebody like Nancy Pelosi, even though she was never president, in for a third term. I wouldn't want somebody like Hillary Clinton in for a third term. So I always put the shoe on the other foot. I don't like it. It sounds great now because Donald Trump is great. And it would be, everybody would be like, well, we get to see him for a third term. I just don't think it's great for afterwards. That's all I'm saying. So I could deal with a kingdom. I can't. No, sir. I love America for the way it is and the rules and regulations we have now. Well, you understand what I mean. It's not black and white, but I don't like all our rules and regulations. But anywho, that's just my quick take on it. But yeah, it is what it is. Thank you, everybody, for joining me. Hit that like button. Just want to be clear. We're going to start running ads again here in a moment. And the ad is going to be based on yesterday's video. And so if you could watch it, it's going to be re-uploaded. So you're going to be like, I have already seen this episode that was from yesterday. That's because I have to re-upload the recording and run an ad on that because I want to try to get more viewers for our main podcast. So if you're curious, that's why that's going to be up. Well, take care, everybody. God bless you. Thank you so much. Pray for Trump. Pray for this country. Pray for the safety of Americans. And I'll see you next time here on The Bald Brad Show. Take care, Patriots.